Like, what if it gives people blood clots?
You got that
Same problem
vaccinated,
occurred with
don't you?
AstraZeneca. People were afraid of AstraZeneca giving people. Not correct, Hassan, stop. There was a fear that AstraZeneca was also creating blood clots to people, but the percentage of people that got blood clots is so fucking low. Okay? Here, let's
The
watch.
CDC and FDA just released a joint
7
statement. I
months
was reading it
already.
now, that is calling for a pause, an immediate pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson single-dose coronavirus vaccine. This is after 6 recipients in the United States developed a rare disorder involving blood clots within about 2 weeks of the vaccination. Joining us now is Dr. Carlos Del Rio. He's the Executive Associate Dean at Emory University School of Medicine at Grady Health System. This is these adverse side effects, a rare blood clotting in 6 women, by the way, ages 18 to 48. 18 to 48, 6 women out of 6.8 million doses administered, Dr. Del Rio. So what's your takeaway here?
Well, thank you, John. I think the first takeaway is that it's a very rare event. I mean, you're talking about 1 per million. And when you give millions of doses of vaccines, you will see events like this that you couldn't see in the clinical trial just because, you didn't have millions of people.
500,000 people have died as a consequence of COVID, right? 500,000 plus people have died as a consequence of COVID. These fucking chud assholes will literally be like, it's fake, brother. It's fake. But then 6 people die because of blood clots. Or 6 people get blood clots. 6 people die. They're like, oh, out of 7 million, 6 people died. All right, can't do it, brother. One is too much. One too many, brother. Fuck that.
People enrolled. So it probably is related. It's rare. But I want to congratulate the CDC and the FDA for very quickly jumping on it, halting the vaccinations until we know more, and really trying to understand what's going on. I think vaccine safety has always been a priority.
6 people got blood clots. 1 person died, not 6 people. I fucked that up already. It wasn't even 6 people that died. It is that 6 people got blood clots. 1 person died.
And I think this is exactly the right move until we understand what's going on and what's the way forward.
I have a lot of friends who have gotten this vaccine, so I think anyone who has gotten it in the past few weeks want to know what to look out for. Here's what the FDA says. People who've gotten this vaccine in the past few weeks who develop a severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath within 3 weeks after vaccination should contact their healthcare provider. That's what they should do. Does this, though, show, Doctor, causality, right? That's the big question. Is it coincidence or causality, or do they not know yet?
Bro, this is like people finding out. It's funny because like this kind of publicity does not usually revolve around vaccinations, right? So the entire marketplace of information is usually left to people that spread misinformation purposefully, like COVID conspiracists or just deniers in general, right? So people, for the first time ever, realize that, like, oh my God, medicine does not have a 100% efficacy rate, and medicine sometimes has adverse side effects. Oh my God, what the fuck? And they start like losing their minds. This is the same kind of this is the same approach to like a person finally coming to terms with like the regular flu vaccine only having like a 30% efficiency rate. You know what I mean? When you hear that, you're like, what the fuck? Why am I taking it then, brother? It's like most people just don't realize that like these things are not 100%, and some people might actually end up getting sick as a consequence of it. Okay, it's like people realizing it for the first time ever, and then like having a come to Jesus moment. Every fucking drug has adverse side effects. Every drug. You have to look at one. You have to weigh the risks with the likelihood that those risks could or those adverse side effects might occur, and you have to weigh that with the advantages and the benefits. Okay, with every single fucking thing.
4 months, brother.
I don't think we know yet. What we know, and we need to understand this further, but we know, for example, there's data coming out primarily from Europe in the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is also a adenovirus vector vaccine, so it may be related to the vector. The adenovirus vector vaccine may have something to do with it.
Wait, what does that mean for people? I don't put that in layman speak for us.
Well, let me put it in very simple terms. What it means is that certain types of vaccines, such as the AstraZeneca and the Johnson & Johnson, which use a cold inactivated virus to deliver the spike protein, may be
Dude, I love when people were like, Hassan, stop. Well, okay, here, let the doctor explain exactly what I just explained, okay? Hey, let the doctor explain in simple terms exactly what I just explained, which is that the AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are literally not the mRNA version. So technically, the vaccine is like basically a fucking dead toenail of COVID that they're putting into your body. It's not supposed to fuck you up. No, people that are getting the J&J vaccine, you're probably not going to be able to get it anyway. In the state of New York, for example, Governor Cuomo announced that they are restructuring all the J&J vaccines to Pfizer vaccines. So there is literally 300 million fucking Pfizer and Moderna vaccines out there, okay? There's literally 300 million in the United States of America. There's enough to fucking vaccinate everyone. But the reason why they were substituting over the J&J was because J&J is a simpler process, easier logistically. You don't need 2 doses, you only need 1 dose. Like, that's part of the reason why, and they were mass producing it so they could start pumping that out because it's just easier to take, right? It's one stabby and you move on. So that's the reason why they were switching over, but there's enough for everyone, even with the previous iterations, even with the Moderna and Pfizer. So basically, the same fears occurred with AstraZeneca and the same fears occurred with Johnson & Johnson, and that's why they stopped it.
Precipitating in very few rare individuals the development of antibodies against the platelet factor 4, which causes this immune thrombocytopenia and thrombosis. So what it means to people at this point in time is I think you're likely going to be okay. I mean, when you think about a 1 in a million event, that's, you cross the street every day, you have a much higher chance of getting run over by a car. So I think what people need to be is don't freak out. I'll be going on in my life, but I would be very attuned to my body. And if I develop...
Listen, I thought that, 2020 was the fucking Dudes Rock 2020 year, but turns out it's actually 2021, baby. Dudes Rock, dude.
Shortness of breath, if I develop leg pain, if I develop a headache, and I'm within 2 to 3 weeks of having had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine,
look at that, J&J.
Notify my healthcare provider.
Okay. Thanks. So Dr. Fauci talked about the pause signal to help physicians as well at the press briefing earlier today.
You and your advice.
The importance of calling this pause, because people say, what does a pause mean? It really allows both the FDA and the CDC to further investigate these cases to try and understand some of the mechanisms of what it is, some more details about the history of the individuals who were involved that might shed some light on looking forward, what will happen and what we will do. That's the first thing. The other thing is to make physicians out there aware of this, and there are some clinical implications of that I believe are important. For example, if someone comes in with this really rather rare syndrome of thrombotic thrombocytopenia, where you get thromboses, and when you have thromboses, the most common way to treat that is with heparin. That would be a mistake in this situation because it could be dangerous and make the situation much worse. So there's a clinically relevant reason why you want to make this known to people. Also,
J&J is a disabled adenovirus vector, not a disabled or weakened version of corona with DNA instructions of code for the spike. Okay, got it. Thank you, smart person.
So when individuals, particularly younger women, who might come into a physician with a particular thrombotic phenomenon, which is things that happen for other reasons all the time, that we want to alert physicians to take a history of a recent vaccination. That would be important. So the pause not only allows us to take a look at the cases and learn more, but it is also a signal out there to help the physicians. Common question, and I'm sure we'll have a number of questions which Jeff and I will be happy to answer to you, but one of the questions that comes up already rather frequently, does this have anything to do with the efficacy of the vaccine? So we know that there have been 6.85 million doses of J&J distributed in the United States thus far. So someone who maybe had it a month or two ago would say, what does this mean for me? It really doesn't mean anything. You're okay, because if you look at the...
Motherfuckers get Jack in the Box tacos, okay, on a regular, the 2 for $1 special. And then they turn around and they go, what the fuck's in this vaccine? Bitch, if you've ever had drive-through at any of these beautiful American establishments, don't worry about what the fuck's in the vaccine, okay? You've already put things in your body willingly that are so much worse. Shut the fuck up. You're literally you're eating wish meat, okay? You're eating meat that you hope is meat, okay? On a daily basis with like a fuckload of plastic in it. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I should take this vaccine. Like, you're fine, okay? You're literally fine.
The time frame when this occurs, it's pretty tight, from a few days, 6 to 13 days from the time of the vaccination. The next question is one that we're all obviously aware of. What impact is this going to have about people's attitudes about vaccines in general? So you might know that there have been now 120 million people that have received at least one dose of a vaccine. Most of that...
This is really bad on the clots because it's made worse with the normal regimen you do when someone has a clot. I had to be on heparin drip for 2 days when I had my pulmonary embolism back in 2018. Why do you fucking type in all caps? Is that because of your pulmonary embolism that you literally have to always type on all caps in the chat? Makes it seem like you have something so severe. It makes it seem like you're yelling all the time.
6.85 million is in the messenger RNA from Pfizer and from Moderna. There have been no red flag signals from those. So you're talking about tens and tens and tens of millions of people who've received vaccine with no adverse effect. This is a really rare event. If you look at what we know so far, there have been 6 out of the 6.85 million doses, which is...
Dude, yeah, 6 out of 6.85, dude. Come on, bro. Honestly, the best part about getting vaxxed up is that, like, even if you didn't do anything else for the rest of the day, you feel like you still accomplished something significant, okay? That's the best part. Like, I could have literally not streamed for the rest of this day, didn't do shit, just laid in bed all day, and I was like, I did something profoundly important today. I got vaxxed up.
I've been loving the RP.
That's the best part. Like, I started my day off. I didn't go to the gym. I have a bunch of other shit that I needed to do that I have not accomplished yet. But you know what? Fuck it. All the tasks that I needed to do, but I haven't done, it just doesn't matter anymore because I got the most important thing done. It's like, I feel like I literally researched the vaccine, okay? Like, we've all been in this together for the past year. So part of me is like, oh yeah, you know, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into figuring out what this vaccine is. Like, I did the research. Now I got vaxxed up. Like, I feel proud of the accomplishment that I was able to get vaccinated when I didn't literally do anything for it, okay?
Is less than 1 in a million. So remember, this is something that we always, out of an abundance of caution, as Jeff said, to give us a time to take a good look at it and see if we can get further information.
Hey, NBC News.
To be honest, by the way, people are talking about how like 5G waves or whatever coming in for the vaccine. If I could get better connection, if that meant I could get like 5G everywhere I go on my phone, like full bars, and I could actually do wireless broadcasting from my phone no matter where I am in the world, I would literally get vaccinated with a 5G microchip. Like, that's not even a joke. Like, I would become a walking cell phone tower